Hey guys, I just wanted to do a winter update. The date is December 6th, 2020, and so far we've had a pretty mild winter. A few cool nights down about zero where we had some light frost, but nothing major. I just want to show you some of the palms and other plants that you'd be interested in, I'm sure. This is a Camerops cerifera, and it's doing quite well. I planted it last year. It was in a pot the year before that, and as you can tell, it's doing quite well, putting on new fronds. Over here I got some Yucca gloriosa variegata. These guys have grown quite a bit over the last year. I planted them 2 years ago, and they're bulletproof. Pretty much nothing will phase them in this climate. We're again in zone 8B/9A, Pacific Northwest, Bowen Island, BC. So Yucca rostrata, again planted 2 years ago, had a lot of growth this summer, and again unfazed with the winters here. Some other yuccas down there. Yucca glauca. Got 2 of those this year. They're freshly planted. There's a Yucca rigida blue sentry. Another one down there. They're pretty nice. They're not as nice as the regular rigidas or the rostrata, in my opinion. That's a Yucca gloriosa, just a regular type. Again, bulletproof in this climate. And over here we have a Trachycarpus fortunei. This guy's about maybe 7 years old now. It's just starting to really bolt. I transplanted it a few times, so every time you transplant a palm, it slows it down a bit. This one's doing quite well. I got some leaves around the base just for insulation for the winter. Other than that, I don't do much to it. Sephomium, New Zealand flax. Down here we have a needle palm, and this guy's freshly planted as well. I got that from a friend, and it's looking pretty good. It's got some nice new fronds coming out. They look nice and healthy. Very little protection for this guy. You can take, it's probably the most cold hardy palmate palm you can get. Let's see what else to show you. Got a Camerops humilis here. As you can see, sometimes for winter protection, I just put lots of leaves around it. And then the crown as well, just so the crown doesn't get super wet. This guy's doing quite well. Little rostrata I planted, it's starting to come around. Here's a cerifera I got last year, or in the summer. And this is from, this guy is from Monrovia. And I put this winter protection, basically a little hat over the top so it wouldn't get a lot of rain on it, because again, it's newly planted, and typically these palms are grown in a greenhouse environment, so they don't see a lot of overhead watering. So I thought for the first winter, I'll give it a bit of a break, because we get quite a bit of rain here. Same with this rostrata, which I've had for 2 years now. It came mailed in bare root, so it didn't actually have any established roots on it. They cut them all off, which is really bad for rostratas. Took it 2 years to finally start growing. Even had a spell of a bit of rot here, but that went away. And then it finally started shooting up some new spears from the middle. And now it's slowed down because of the winter, but next year it should really start taking off. And again, I got some overhead protection for that one. And also for this one, this is a Yucca rigida. Look at those beautiful blue leaves on it. That one definitely doesn't like rain, so I got that protection overhead. It's a Cordyline australis. This guy's pretty bulletproof in our climate. You see them all over the place in British Columbia on the coast. And it's sent out a little guy from the base. Again, I got some leaves around the base for protection. Some color guard yuccas, another phormium, and a Magnolia Cape Paris, which is awesome plant. The deer don't bug it. It's very hardy in this climate. Blooms all year, especially in the winter time. Great plant. And this is a Camerops humulus that I transplanted. I didn't have a spot for it yet, so I just put it in a pot. This guy is a Tasmanian tree fern. I've had it now for 2 years. It's starting to get really big, and it's got a pretty good trunk starting on it. Again, I've got it covered in leaves, so you can't quite see, but it's probably about a foot of trunk, 12 inches. It get bigger every year. If you go over here onto my deck, I got a Livingstone chinensis here that I got last year, or sorry, during the summer. And again, these are greenhouse grown, so obviously when you put it out into the elements, it's going to have a bit of a adjusting period. As you can see, it looks a little rough, but I got it in a pot. If it gets below 0 Celsius, I'll bring it into the greenhouse, but other than that, it can take these temperatures. This guy next to it is a Brugmansia sanguinea. It's a cold group Brugmansia. It's got some pretty nice blooms, and this thing, no problem. 0 degrees Celsius, keeps on blooming. If you like Brugmansia, this is a great option for the winter time when Brugmansias don't typically grow or bloom. So you can see lots of blooms on there. Over here, I picked up some more rostratus because I just love them. And for now, I just put them in these pots. Obviously, they would do better in the ground, but for now, I got them in these clay pots. This guy is a hybrid between a Jubea chilensis and a Butiayete. I got that from the States, and it's got all the attributes of a Chilean wine palm, but it grows faster. And as many of you know, Chilean wine palms are one of the slowest growing palms in the world. So to get things moving along a little quicker, it's got some Butia in it. And indeed, it is growing faster than my purebred Jubea chilensis. Go down here onto the lawn. I have a Tracharpus wagnerianus. This guy I picked up 2 years ago. Last winter, we had a bit of a cold spring, and it really affected it, especially since it was newly planted. And it had spear pull, and it took a good 4 months to recover from that. And it sent out 4 new fronds over the summer, and it's recovered now, and it's sending out even more. And the beauty of these wagnerianus, they're awesome. They're awesome in this climate. They can take the wind, they can take the snow, they can take the rain. And I have just basic protection, just some leaves around the base. Over here we got another Camerops humulus. Again, no special protection for this guy. Over here I got, if I know what this is. I got this guy in the summer, and it does well in this climate. No problems whatsoever. So this is a loquat, and it will bear fruit in the winter times. In this climate, you might have to protect it a bit for it to get ripe fruit, because Sometimes it gets too cool for the fruit to ripen. But that will get to a big tree eventually, or a big shrub, and you can prune it. Those are my bananas, my musabajus. Yesterday I got sick of looking at the leaves that look kind of crappy, and I cut it. So that's pretty much all the protection I give it during the winter. I just take the leaves that I cut and I put them on the base just to protect the roots. And then the stalks are actually a good 6-7 feet. Some people like to wrap these guys with bubble wrap, put a bag on top. If it gets really cold, I'll do that, but it's gotta be like -5 or more for me to do that. Otherwise they're fine, and they'll just start shooting up from where I cut them, or halfway down from where I cut them in the spring. Down here I have my oldest Trachycarpus fortunei. This guy has been moved again several times, so it's a bit slow, but it's almost 10 years old now. It's about 9 feet or so. Keeps shooting out new growth, so I'm really hoping next year it'll bolt and take off. It's been transplanted a few times, and it's slowed it down significantly every time we transplant it. So don't transplant palms, they don't like it. Very few palms like to be transplanted. It slows them down. Got one more palm to show you in the back, and that'll be it for the update for the winter, December 2020. So this is the last palm I want to show you guys. This I picked up during the summer for $20 at Garden Works. I couldn't believe it. It was a 1-gallon pot. It's a young Trachycarpus wagnerianus, and look at those fronds. They are so stiff. They can take a pounding. So I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna plant it. They're hardy in this climate. Why slow it down by putting it in a pot? So this guy is like maybe got 6 inches of trunk, and then it's about 12 inches in total height. It's probably about 4 years old, I'd say. And eventually it should fill in this space nicely. I did have a Trachycarpus fortunei in this spot last year, and unfortunately the cold and the wet got to the spear and I didn't notice it, and it had severe spear pull, and then I started cutting it down and actually had rotted all the way down. So really unusual for a fortunei to go in this climate, but I lost it. So I got a baby in its spot here. It should fill out nicely and then eventually get some height on it. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do another video shortly about my other plants in the garden. I got some pretty cool cold hardy plants, and that will be an upcoming video. Have a good day. Talk to you later.